Okay, we'll get it started. So, Matteo, welcome. My name is Ayan.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm one of the new GRF members, and I take over the social media side of things. And yeah, I'm just kind of conducting these interviews to get to know you guys and to kind of, shed the light on what's really happening in college and to get the insight from you guys about college and what your personal experiences are. So, before we get started, let's just tell us a bit about yourself. Like where are you from? How old are you? What sport and position that you play, and the school that you're at.
Yeah, so my name's Matteo. I'm 21. I'm a sophomore at Parkland Community College, which is Division II junior college in Champaign, Illinois. So it's about 2.5 hours south of Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm on the men's soccer team. I'm a goalkeeper.
Mhm.
And so yeah, Parkland's in Champaign, Illinois, which is in the college town that U of I, University of Illinois is in. So it's just a full on college town, which is an amazing experience.
Oh, cool.
Um,
That must be
which
so
is really
cool.
cool. Yeah, it's awesome. Just it's so good because everything in the town is catered for people my age because like the town is for the college basically.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, everything's tailored for like 22-year-olds kind of, which is
Yeah.
the average age of college students, which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's so cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So,
Yeah, it's sick.
at Parkland College, like what are you studying? What are you studying right now?
Mm.
What do you plan to study in the future?
Yeah, so I'm studying general studies right now.
Yeah.
But touch wood, hopefully when I transfer for next season, I will get into a nursing program. That's what I'd love to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely my dream to become a nurse.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah, so junior colleges, they are basically a 2-year college and you get an associate's degree after that. And what most people do and what you and I did really is doing general studies. And so what most people do is get those general studies out the way at your junior college and then go on to your 4-year college and really get into the specifics of your degree. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you know, I also went to a junior college.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was at TJC, Tyler Junior College in Tyler,
Okay, nice.
Texas.
Oh,
Um,
sick.
yeah, and I did the same thing as you. I did general studies. I wanted to go the emergency medicine route. So I
Oh,
was
nice.
doing like AP Biology 1 and 2 and
Yeah.
getting all the core stuff out of the way. But like every college is different and every college has their own core subjects
Yeah.
catered to their what their school is about. So um, yeah, once you move on, you might have to take another core that you didn't realize, but it'll get specific after that,
Yeah, yeah.
which is nice. It's really good that the whole
Definitely.
college system does that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, okay. So let's wind it back before college even started. You're from
Mm.
Hobart.
Yes, yeah.
What was um when did you decide to come to the States to study? And I guess take me back before college, like what team you played for and
Yeah, yeah.
started becoming a goalkeeper.
Yeah, so I played a club team for a couple clubs back home. I played for Hobart City Beachside and Olympia FC Warriors, two club teams back home. And kind of, I have an older sister. She's 2 or 3 years older than me, and she went through the same process. She got an offer to play in
Yeah.
Tennessee, I think,
Yeah, cool.
but she turned it down. But she went through the whole process. And I was like, oh, I'd really love to just kind of being in an environment of like pretty much semi-pro soccer.
Yeah.
That's always been a dream of mine. And I remember I was about 17 or 18. I went and I turned to my mum. I'm like, I got to do this. Like, I have to try it out and see what it's like. I was really lucky in the sense that when I was 14, uh, my family and I, we all went to the States. We got some family here. And I just absolutely fell in love with it. We went to like Minnesota and Ohio and California, and it was just like, I just loved it. I was like, I really want to come back here.
Yeah.
Um, which definitely kind of set the planted that seed a little early, I'd say. But yeah, to come over here and just in a semi-pro environment, like I said, it's just something I had to give a go. And I'm kind of the person where it's like, if it doesn't work out, I can say at least I've given it that shot, and I know that where I
Yeah.
could, yeah. I don't know how I'd feel if I never really tried and then went, oh, what if I did this kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I totally get you in that sense. And no, you're not too young to have made that decision. When I was 14, I met
Yeah.
there was this ID camp that was happening in Cairns, where I'm from.
Oh,
And,
nice.
being up from like a small town, like there's not really much happening in the way of
Yeah.
opportunities. So
Yeah.
when Matt and his company he was previously with, when they came knocking, I just kind of went, yep, I want to do this. I was
Yeah.
14. I was like, I want the American dream.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
be, I want to, it's just like the movies. I want to taste it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so no, I don't think you're too young. And no, I'm the same as you. Like, yeah, it's just like an opportunity that you just got to take with both hands. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, then you can say, yeah, I did that. I tried that. I
Yeah.
gave that a go. So that's pretty
Definitely.
cool. I love that.
Thanks.
Okay, so when you did decide to go to the US, how did that process happen? Like, was it through Matt or Richo, or
Hmm.
was it an in-person thing, or did you find us online? Like, talk me through the process of that.
Yeah. So like you said, Matt was with a company before he started Green Room Futures, and that's what my sister went through.
Right.
And so like she obviously met Matt and went through that whole process with him. So my mum reached out to Matt and was like, "Hey, like Matteo's here. He is really interested. Like, you still doing that?" And Matt came back and said, "Well, actually, no, but I've just started Green Room Futures. I think this was in 20, I want to say like 2020-ish. So Green Room Futures was kind of not starting up, but it was newish. And yeah, I just met with Matt online. I think I met him for an hour online. I said to my mum, I'm like, I'm doing this. Like,
He's
he
very
kind of,
convincing, isn't he?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm 100% doing this. So I had one Zoom call with Matt, and I was pretty much signed up, which was a really really straightforward process. Um, as soon as I told Matt that I was interested, he just sent me like two or three forms
Mm.
that I just had to fill out all my information, and we're pretty much set to go.
Yeah. So, getting to the States, like, what was like, what visa like are you on, and like, I know about the I-20, but just talk
Mhm.
about like, how to get these processes, like, going to the
Yeah, yeah,
and all that.
yeah. So like most international students, I'm on an F1 visa, which is a study visa. Um, which basically it just means I'm here to study, not really anything else. So the only way you can work and kind of earn an income whilst you're on this visa is at the school. Um, and the requirements are pretty straightforward. You just have to be like in a certain amount of classes in person and pass these classes, and you can maintain your visa status. But the process to get it again is pretty straightforward. You go into like an online thing, like a website um, by set up by the U.S. Embassy, which can be frustrating sometimes to get through. But
Yeah.
after you get through that, there's no U.S. Embassy in Hobart, so I flew up to Sydney, I think.
Uh,
But I'm sure there's a U.S. Embassy in pretty much every state apart from Hobart. Um, but you
yes.
just have to go up with your passport, date of birth, like birth certificate, and a couple other documents.
Yeah.
And you just go in. You have a really quick. They say an interview. It's about a 5 minute conversation
Yeah.
with them. I thought I was very stressed out. I was like, I can't fail this interview. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
I
But
was too.
yeah, yeah, I was so nervous because I was like, I don't want to do this whole process again. So, but honestly, it was more of just an interesting conversation the guy was having with me. He was just interested in why I was going to Parkland specifically and what kind of things I'd be getting up to. And yeah, after about 5 minutes, he said, "Yeah, you're good to go." And I left you leave your passport there, and they mail it back to you with your visa kind
Mm.
of in it.
Yeah. Yeah, stamped in there, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah. Not many people like know about this process or they kind of get
yeah, yeah,
out like you and I did. But
yeah,
having these conversations and having real experiences from real people, it's nice to know. So thanks for
yeah, definitely. It's a lot less stressful than what anyone thinks. I guarantee it.
yeah, yeah, I
It's
agree.
very straightforward. Yeah.
Okay, so you're at college now, you're a sophomore.
Mm,
You've had a year to kind of get your feet going in
mm,
in this in college really. And so
mm.
just talk me through your what your like daily schedule looks like as a student athlete.
Yeah, yeah. So with Parkland anyway, we have practice from 3 to 5 p.m. ish. So all of us student athletes with in-person classes, we kind of get them out of the way as soon as we can.
Yeah.
So in the morning, it'll be class from like 9 till 12, rough normally. Um, Normally they're an hour classes. It depends which ones you take. Obviously, if you take like I am anatomy and physiology, like you have like 3 hour labs in that time, but
Yeah.
most of the time it's normally like 50-minute lessons. So we normally have school from 9 till 12. Most of us will just stay at school, bring some lunch or something like that. Get our homework. Well, for me anyway, I try and get my homework out of the way in that time. I normally have 2.5 hours where I can just cram out some homework,
Yeah.
and then we'll practice from 3 to 5. Um, and then after practice, me and some of the other guys go and work out just for like 45 minutes. If we don't have like a really big workload, like game wise that week, it
Yeah.
just kind of depends on how often we play that week.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I normally get home around 7:30,
Hmm.
have dinner because I've done that study during the day. That's kind of my relaxing time.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the rest of the night, we normally play some video games with the whole guys, or play some cards or board games or something like that
Yeah.
to kind of end the night, which is really really nice.
Yeah. So when you talk about like having a workout with the boys after your soccer training,
Mm.
what does that entail? Is that in the gym?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I should have been a bit more specific.
No,
Sorry.
you're right.
So normally it's not mandatory at all.
Yeah.
It's just like five of us would go work out in the gym. Normally
Is
it's just
it
a lot
like,
of.
is it the school gym or is it your
Yeah, yeah.
athletics?
So the school gym. So Parkland is we're very, very lucky. Our school gym has been modeled after the University of Illinois gym, which is a massive,
Oh,
big Division
cool.
One program.
Yeah.
So it's state of the art facility. So we have like by far, I would say the best gym in all of junior college, and probably better than a lot of Division One teams. So we stay back there,
Yeah.
and we'll do a lot of just plyometric training. So not necessarily like really heavy weights,
Yeah.
but so a lot of jumping, a lot of movement, all that kind of stuff,
Cool.
just to help us with the game. Some sprints are always really big. Trying to improve our sprint speed is our main goal.
Yeah. Cool. And when you go like have dinner or something, is that at the cafeteria or do you go out somewhere?
Yeah, so we live off campus, so we don't have a cafeteria. That's always a big debate. I know a lot of people have living on campus versus off campus. It'd be nice to not have to cook. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we cook here. It is cheaper, so that's one
Yeah.
thing that's a good benefit. So we live about probably a 10-minute drive from campus, which isn't too bad. There's a really good bus system in Champaign, so we normally just
Okay.
catch the bus every morning. But yeah, so lunch, dinner, all that's kind of cooked. Like I normally make like a massive big bowl of pasta that'll meal prep me for like 4 meals maybe, and
Yeah.
then kind of take that with me for lunch every day, and then just if there's some left over, reheat that for dinner or cook it kind
Yeah.
of again for dinner.
Yeah. Okay. And so you live in a house with some teammates, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So I've got four roommates. I've got a guy from Japan, a
Yeah.
guy from Ghana, myself, and another Australian, Bertie, who's also part of Green Room, which has been really nice.
Cool. Cool.
So yeah, it's good to have an Australian accent that I can hear every day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it is
it's
it
been
is nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bertie's a freshman, so I wasn't with him last year, so I did miss that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to have someone now that I can relate to, and kind of we can make jokes that only we kind of get,
Yeah,
which is good fun.
the lingo, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
oh yeah, okay. So how do you get around then if you live off campus? Do you guys have a car that you share or
Hmm.
what's that?
So yeah, like I said, I'm not too sure about what public transport is like in other towns, but in
Okay.
Champaign especially, just because it's such a big college town, public transport's really, really good
Yeah.
here. So there's a bus that'll leave our apartment complex every like 30 minutes or so, and it'll take us pretty much straight to the door of Parkland, which is really, really handy. It normally takes about half an hour to get there on the bus. If yeah, we need to go somewhere else, like we need to go to Walmart to get some groceries, or we want to go out to eat or somewhere. Normally, we try and guilt some of the local guys who have
Yeah.
cars, and ask them. It's always a big thing. We kind of try to, at least in our apartment, try and time when we need groceries so we can just all go together in one big
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of go. And if we can get groceries for the next 2 weeks, three
Yeah.
weeks even, it kind of just helps us out a lot. So yeah, that's normally the plan. Normally we try and message every single American on our team. Hey, are
Yeah.
you free at like 6 o'clock tonight?
Hmm.
Or like something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I know all about that. I used to do the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
It's a tough life without a car and
Yeah, it can be.
a place like the United States where everything is just so spread out and you
Yeah,
can't walk
that's
anywhere.
yeah, that's the thing. Everything I always find it so frustrating because everything's within a 10-minute drive, but it's like a 40-minute, 50-minute walk kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, tough life. Um, so academic wise, what's been like the biggest academic challenge for you? And like, do you guys have a school student advisor that like helps you out with planning classes and whatnot?
Yeah, yeah, we do, which has been very, very helpful. Um, so it's nice not to have to stress too much about like selecting classes and knowing what you should and shouldn't take, which is really good. We've got like a student athlete specific academic advisor. So they
Okay.
know like all our when we practice, like when we're going to be available, when we're not going to be available, to like actually sit in class. So I just kind of went up to them and I was like, hey, like this is my situation. I'm general studies, but I want to do nursing. And they're like, yep, okay, so first semester, you're probably going to have to do these classes. And then second semester, we might make it a little bit harder. They normally make first semester, your freshman year, less stressful because you're kind of just settling in,
Yeah.
which was definitely a big help for me. And they kind of just went, this is kind of what your schedule is going to look like. These are the classes. And then normally you have a couple of electives you get to choose, especially in general studies. And they're like, well, what are you interested in? And normally you can pick one or two that look interesting as well. So yeah, like I said, it's nice to not have to worry too much about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hardest thing with school, oh, that's I think it's just balancing. I know it's a very basic answer, but it's just balancing
Yeah.
that kind
Well, it
of
is.
work and sports balance.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's a lot going, from here, whatever you're doing in Australia to going to the United States, going to classes every day,
Yeah,
your sport every day, game schedule, and on top of that, you're trying to, have a social life and
yeah,
meet people and
exactly.
have fun and whatnot.
Yeah,
So it is a balance, really. Um,
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that like you wish you knew before coming to the States?
Yeah, I think one thing's the weather. That's what everyone says, but it's so
Really?
true. In the Midwest, especially, it in winter time it gets cold. Like, and everyone says it gets cold, but like no one realizes it. Like, I think this winter,
Illinois, especially.
yeah, Illinois is bad. This week, not this week, this winter, sorry, we had a week where it was minus 20 degrees Celsius straight, and it was not fun. And everyone's like, "Yeah, we love the snow," and I love snow. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but when you love the snow for like the first week, and then you're like, "Okay, I'm sick of it now," and
Yeah.
you kind of just like move on. But that's a big thing in preseason when we get here at end of July, beginning of August. It's really really hot, really sticky
Yeah.
where we're at, and then it just completely flips in 6 months to the polar opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would say. Be prepared for that. I wasn't very prepared my freshman year with like clothing and all that kind of stuff. So I learned from that mistake, and I brought a bunch of clothes over my sophomore year
Yeah.
um, to get me ready for that.
Yeah, I was curious and I wanted to ask you because, obviously being from Hobart, it's quite cold down there, well, at least for me coming from Cairns,
Yeah, yeah,
complete polar.
definitely.
Um, but yeah, I've been to Chicago. I went
Mm.
during Christmas time and New Year's
Oh,
Eve.
nice.
So I experienced that cold firsthand, and I can back
Yeah.
you up 100% that it is very cold.
Yeah, very, very
It's
cold.
insane. It was really
Yeah.
insane. But no, that is so true. Like
Mm.
I, the States, for some reason, like in the summer, it gets so hot everywhere, no matter where you
Yeah.
go. And then in the winter, it can get really cold. Like
Mm.
I was in Texas for the
Yeah, okay.
junior college. And
Mm.
even in the wintertime, it was like we had two snowstorms, which were
Yeah.
out of the blue. And you'd think like Texas is really hot, like it doesn't get
Mm.
cold. But actually in the wintertime, it does get really cold.
Yeah.
But I also have lived in the Midwest as well. I was in
Yeah.
Nebraska for a
Oh,
year.
that's
So,
that's colder than Illinois, I think.
oh, I don't know. Chicago was
No?
quite cold.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Chicago is
But
very extreme, yeah.
yeah, but to be fair, they were both like, of the cold extremes. So,
Mm.
yeah, Nebraska, I remember that being so cold and living over there. I kind of just like got sick every second week or something like that. And
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think I got hay fever there. I don't really know. I'd never had hay fever before
Yeah, really.
or anything like that. So I experienced that for the first time, and you just never expect it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's kind of good advice, really, to
Yeah,
pack well.
yeah, Packwell, like you don't think it'll get like I was like I'm from Hobart, it won't be that bad. But yeah, it's horrendous. It's not no, sorry, I take that back. It's not horrendous. Just be prepared for it. I make
Yeah,
it sound awful. It's not as bad as what I make it sound, but yeah, just be prepared for it. That's all I'd say.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Okay. So what's the sporting culture like in the US compared to Australia?
Yeah, it's a lot cleaner, I would say, in the sense that it's less how do I describe it? Um, it's a lot cleaner in the sense that for example, you're not allowed to really cuss or do anything like that in the field. Like I know in Australia you can
No.
within reason pretty much say whatever you want to your teammates and even the opposition. But in America, if you start swearing or anything like that, most referees are going to book you straight away. They'll give you a yellow card.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a lot more respectful, which I actually enjoy. I think it's nice.
Mhm.
It can be frustrating sometimes. Like you go from one environment that's completely hostile and very different, and then you come to America, everyone's like, no, like this is how we play.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I'd say. And it's less. It's because you're in college and oh anyway for college soccer anyway. Because you're in like all the colleges you play such technically skilled players. There's not as many like bad or rough tackles or anything like that because people really like they can play. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sometimes you come up against some players back home, or at least I did that. Like I'm not saying that bad players at all, quite good players, but they just become really aggressive and some
Yeah.
of the tackles put in are pretty horrendous. But yeah, in the US it's very, very clean. No one has to do that because they're so good, I would say. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I find that as well. I think I've played in the US, Australia, and Japan.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, as you can imagine, the Japanese are very technical, very, very,
Yeah, yeah.
so they can just play and move the ball around you. Whereas the
Yeah.
US is more like, I think they're very fast and
Mm,
um they're very much play down the line, like
yeah,
fitness, fitness, fitness.
definitely.
And Australia's got a bit of both, in my opinion,
Mm.
but I think we're just a bit more aggressive. Um,
Yeah, I agree. And you're exactly right about the US. Like almost every team we play, including us, it's everyone is down the line, cross a ball into the box kind of thing. That is
Let's go,
what
go, go.
95% of teams will do. And it's not necessarily long ball over the top, but it'll be like playing a through ball in behind to onto a winger who can cut back to a striker sitting at like the penalty area.
Yeah,
Um, and that's what, yeah, a lot of teams will play. And it's, yeah, like you said, very intense. You got to be fit to play in the outfield for
yeah,
soccer. Very fit.
yeah, yeah, I agree. So what about the cultural differences outside of soccer? Like what about
Yeah.
food? Was it hard to adjust to food? The people,
Yeah. Also,
places?
yeah, I think food is a huge one, and that's what everyone says. Again, I remember talking to Bertie, who's just next door, about it a couple of weeks ago, and we'll just like get portion sizes are just like twice, three times the size. And for
Yeah,
like people like us, like we're working out twice a day kind of thing, so we love it. We eat it.
yeah,
So it's good, but yeah, it's not what I expected. Like you see a meal on the menu for like 12 or 13 US dollars, and you think, oh, okay, that's not going to be very big. Like 12, $13 Australian is tiny.
yeah,
You're not going to get much, and then it comes out as massive, massive bowl of food, and like,
yeah,
yeah, it's I love that in the sense because I eat a lot.
yeah.
So that's good. Fast food is everywhere as well, I would say. Kind of every corner
Do you like
almost.
do you like fast food?
Um, yeah, I don't mind American fast food. It's not too bad. Like Chick-fil-A, I don't mind.
Chick-fil-A is
I can
good.
definitely do some Chick-fil-A or Raising Cane's
Oh,
yeah, that'll have a special place in my heart.
don't get me started about Raising Cane's.
Um,
I miss Raising Cane's, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A
oh
so
yeah,
much.
Chipotle. Yeah, I remember seeing on TikTok all this hype about this Chipotle place, and I was like, can't be that good, but it is phenomenal. It's like Zambrero, but just like 100 times better.
Oh,
Like
yep, agreed. And
it's so so
it's good and it's cheap. Like,
yeah,
oh,
exactly. I think it's the most like soccer player meal. Like all of us soccer guys will go there.
yeah,
It's just yeah, like you say, it's cheap. It's got everything you need: protein, carbs, bit of veggies. It's perfect.
yeah.
Um, we kind of had a running joke that literally everyone before an away game would pretty much go to Chipotle before the team bus, and that would be lunch.
I feel like my when I was playing in Florida, my the men's team over there, they all did that too. I don't know
Mm.
what it is about the men's teams and just getting Chipotle specifically on game
Mm.
days. But
Yeah, yeah,
that's so funny you say that.
yeah.
Um, okay, so you talked about your facilities being
Mm.
very high end, obviously with the D1 university you have there as well. But is there anything other like are there any other facilities that you guys have? Like, do you guys have an ice bath potentially that you guys use or like what yeah, anything like that that you can think of?
Yeah, this was another like, amazing thing I found when I came here is like the facilities we have. Like we obviously have the like I said the gym that's phenomenal. It's unreal.
Mhm.
But yeah, in the athletic training room, we have a trainer or physio there for I think 4 hours during the day between like 1 and 5, maybe it's 5 hours.
Yeah.
Where you can just go in and like completely free and just say, hey, like my ankle is niggling me, like what's going on, and can help you out. And then in that room, you've got things like ice baths, you got your heat packs, like anything you can really think of in a training room, you can just use kind of for free, which is amazing. Like I said, when we practice during the fall season, we're practicing twice a day and then playing up to three times a week. It's really full on your body. So a lot of us would go in there just for an ice bath or use a heat pack on like your hamstrings or something before practice, just to kind of get ready, which has been amazing. It's just so nice to have those facilities available to you whenever you want.
Yeah.
In saying that, it's not very like it's not forced at all. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. But keep in mind, you're not getting the best out of your body if you don't use
Yeah.
it. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. So I always think, well, it's there, it's free, it's making me a better player. Of course, I'm gonna. Can I go?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100%. The facilities just all across colleges in the US is just it's unreal. It's next level.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
fantastic. Um, just a little uh question for like I'm sure what parents would be asking is
Mm.
do you get insurance provided to you or do you have to purchase your own insurance? Like what do you have currently?
Yeah, so both actually.
Yeah.
When I went through Matt with Green Room Free Futures, he recommended an insurance policy to take out, which of course you don't have to if you don't want to, or if you want to go with a different one, you can. But that kind of just covers just kind of anything that can really go wrong with you. Um, so if something happens, like if I get sick and I want to go to the doctor, I know like the healthcare system in the US is very expensive.
Yeah.
But out of pocket, I think on the one insurance I'm on is only about $30 for a visit to a GP, which is really, really nice.
Mm,
And
yeah.
it covers I'm not too sure on the specifics, but it covers like if I have a surgery or an x-ray, it covers a certain amount of that. But if I ever get injured or hurt of any kind while I was doing a Parkland organized practice or game, whatever that will be, Parkland has a policy where they will cover everything. So let's say I get in a really extreme example would be like I tear my ACL in a game. It would go through my insurance first, but then any of the leftover stuff Parkland College would completely like compensate for. I'm not too sure how it goes with other colleges, but for Parkland at least, that's kind of their policy. They have an insurance that'll cover any surgery, any X-rays, any medication I'm on, anything like that. Unfortunately, we have seen a couple ACL tears, not on the men's soccer team, thank God, but on a couple other teams, and it's yeah, thankfully they don't have to pay anything out of pocket
Yeah.
in that sense. But let's say I want to go down and like do a practice with some of my teammates completely kind of off the books. If I hurt myself there, that has to go through my insurance and then my insurance only. So
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah, most colleges would have that policy, I would think and hope that
mm,
any organized practice with the school would be covered.
mm,
And I think the most common insurance, at least the one I was on for the three colleges was at, was United Healthcare.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that is like the most common one that everyone would use.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's kind of one of the biggest questions I ask whenever I am transferring to another college. I would have a bunch of questions, um, and what insurance do you provide is one of those questions, along with other things like I'm a goalkeeper as well, so I would ask
oh, nice,
I would ask these coaches like, do you have a goalkeeper coach? Like that's one
yeah,
thing
yeah,
that's very important,
definitely, yeah,
it's not always accessible for us goalies.
mm,
Um,
yeah,
so having that coach would be good. And
mm,
same thing with like the insurance, like that's, it's a necessity, really.
yeah, definitely,
Parents, I'm sure, would be wondering what those routes are.
mm,
Okay, I got a couple more questions left for you before we finish up in 5 minutes.
yeah.
I got a like side question as well. Like,
Mm,
what airport do you fly into, and like, how do you get to Parkland from
yeah.
that airport?
So there's two ways you can go through. I went through, so I went Hobart, Sydney, Sydney to LA, and then LA into Chicago Airport. And then there's a cheap train, I think it's about $20 you can catch that goes straight from Chicago down to Champaign train station, maybe 2.5 hours.
Okay.
And then my coach picked me up, which was very nice.
Mhm.
And he kind of took me to Walmart and got me settled into my apartment, which is really nice. But there is in Champaign another airport which is a little bit more expensive to get into, but it is nice in the sense that you can just fly straight in
Yeah.
um, and kind of just get it settled in from there. So I think Birdie did that. He flew Hobart, Sydney, Sydney, Dallas, and then Dallas into Champaign. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
is how he went. And again, coach picked him up at the airport. I know a lot of people ask me like, how the heck do you like get anywhere when you
Mm.
just land? And either if you're the first, and it's very unlikely as an international, but if you're the first ever student athlete like settling in, coach will 100% pick you up.
Yeah.
But most of the time, coach will be there your coach will be there with another player or two players and kind
Hmm.
of introduce you to them, like normally the captains, and
Yeah.
you'll get settled in really, really well. So that's definitely nothing to stress about.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Okay, so what's been like, what's been the best and what's been the hardest part about college and your experience so far?
Mm. Yeah, good question. The best would definitely be, again, very cliche, but just meeting so many people from all over the world. Like with soccer, especially as you know, 85% of the people are internationals. So you just get to meet, like on our team, I've lost count of how many countries there. I think we've got someone from almost every single continent. We have quite a few Japanese players, obviously some Australians, a couple guys from Africa, South America, and Europe, and obviously the US. So yeah, it's been amazing. Meet new cultures and learn a couple new languages, um, which is yeah, it's been amazing. But the worst thing, or not the worst thing, but the biggest struggle would definitely be kind of adjusting into like an actual adult lifestyle in the sense that everything's on you. Like if you don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
learned that very early on. I learned the first day if I don't cook, like I don't eat kind of thing.
yeah,
So that kind of thing, looking after your laundry and kind of
yeah.
scheduling and all that kind of stuff. Like you have so many resources like with an academic advisor, but you have to be the person that goes there, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah,
It's not like they're going to come up to you and say, "Hey, these are your classes." You have to take that first step.
yeah.
And it
And
can be hard, definitely.
yeah, and especially for you, you've got a little bit of extra responsibility, obviously living outside of campus in your own
Mm,
apartment. You got to cook your own food, you got to find your own transport
yeah.
to and from school, to and from training.
Mm,
And not many junior colleges do that, so I'm surprised that
yeah,
you do. But at the same time, it is extra responsibility, but it's kind of like extra learning, and you get to, you get to live a better lifestyle and sort of control
definitely.
it as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's kind of good.
definitely.
Um, but yeah, okay. So my last question for you is, what advice would you give another or a fellow Aussie that's
Mm.
wanting to study and play in the US like yourself?
Yeah, I had two things. I would say definitely just be open to a new experience. Don't kind and I've seen it before. I saw it in my freshman year, people that kind of came in not really having a very open mind about it and being very worried about the US and oh, I just want to go back home kind of thing. Just be open to a new experience and having a bit of fun. And I think the biggest one would be just ask questions, like whether that be on a call with a coach or at international admissions, not knowing about your visa status, or
Yeah.
like people are so friendly here and they want to help, but they don't know that they need to help you unless you tell them, if that makes sense. So just
Yeah.
ask. Like even I know that one of the most daunting things that I'm doing right now, talking to coaches, and you've got 5 million questions you ask, and you're like, oh, I don't want to take up all your time, but like that's what they're there for. Ask those questions so you know 100% you can be like relaxed and know that like it's going to be okay and be completely reassured.